Welcome back to Crossout, welcome back to the test server, welcome back to another week of seeing drone nerfs and some interesting shotgun changes and a complete rework of the blockchain weapon, which previously hasn't been all that usable in my opinion. So definitely some welcome changes that we are looking at today, and definitely something that I think people have been asking for, so they're kind of getting what they want. And then also a couple of changes that I don't really understand, but let's get into all of the changes one by one so that we can talk about them, see what I like, what I don't like, what I think is a bit unnecessary, because there is a bit of everything. But let's just get into it. First of all, Cannon Avenger and Cannon Judge are being changed. They are going to have a 15% and a 10% increase to the gunshot damage, so the initial sort of hit damage before the explosion and the AoE damage is being increased by 15% for the Avenger and 10% for the Judge. A little change to take those guns up a bit in power, and it's something that I think they need because some of the cannons were a bit low on damage after the changes to it. But I think this is going to be something that will balance these weapons out a little bit. We're not going to go too much into it because I don't think it's very important for this test server. But instead, I want to look at the next here, because that's the Spitfire and the Rupture shotgun, which are both been buffed a little bit, with their optimal range being increased from 20 to 50 meters. This means that now, if we just slap on a couple of those, whoops, Rupture, there we go, then this means that now the optimal range, meaning the sort of the range where the weapon will deal 100% damage, is changed to 50 meters. This means that this range for the Rupture and the Spitfire will deal full damage each hit. And that's a massive change, because this was the 20 meters before, which is something like this. Maybe something like this. So that is quite the increase in distance, and something that I definitely think will make Rupture feel just a little bit stronger, because now you will still deal full damage if you are chasing down an enemy that might be running away from you. You will be dealing full damage for a longer time in case he starts running and you are trying to pursue him and maybe he's faster than you. Then you will still have a chance at taking most of his stuff out before he gets out of your optimal range, and he will start receiving reduced damage because of it. The maximum range of this weapon is about 95 meters, so it's, you know, pretty good for this weapon, that you can deal full damage still, even if you're that far away. But as you can see, as we reverse up here, still dealing damage. Go back a little bit more. There we go, still dealing damage. Go back a little bit more. Still there, a bit more. Can we hit a point where we don't? There. So as you can see, we are a bit over the 100 meters, so it's not exactly 100 meters, and we're also a bit not aligned straight up to it. So I think around 95 meters is the maximum range of the Rupture, and this is also the same for the Spitfire, so we don't really have to bring out that one. Besides that, the Rupture also has its durability increased to 229. It was 200 before, so a decent change to that. The Fafnir shotgun, the Epic, let's just see, there it is. The Fafnir shotgun has its durability increased from 273 to 300, so also a decent change there, and also something that I think it needs, because the Fafnir is by now one of the least used epics as far as I have been able to see. So it's a change that I think is just fine to bring in as well. Hopefully we just won't see too many people running these builds where you literally have nothing else than just Fafnirs and a Huntsman cabin and your starter wheels to farm new players. But we will probably see that a bit because of the buff to it, but it is what it is. And then the autocannons, the Storm and the Whirlwind, are both being changed. And the Storm has its damage reduced by 10%. The autocannon Whirlwind has its damage reduced by 8%. So a tiny damage nerf to the Whirlwind, which I find rather questionable. Why are they doing this? I mean, no one has really complained about them. No one is playing those freaking weapons, and I don't want to say that it's me that provoked it, but I played it in Clan Wars a couple times now. First time I have literally ever seen the Whirlwind in Clan Wars at all, and bam, nerf. So I don't know if it's just because they've seen the damage in there and thought to themselves that it's too much, but yeah, I guess we'll never truly know. But 8% at the end of the day is not, it's not all that much, so I guess we'll survive. But also for the Storm, 10%. The Storm is a strong weapon, so I would rather understand that one. But the Whirlwind is just a weak relic or a weak epic weapon already, so I don't really see where this comes from, but it is what it is. Now onto the blockchain, which has been completely reworked, and I definitely think that this is one of the most interesting reworks that we have seen in a long time. The blockchain was a matter of a lot of discussion back when it first released, because it dealt so much damage to heated parts and you could blow up like any build in seconds. Now I feel like we're going to be back at that again, because now the blockchain acts as somewhat what the Scorpion did back when everyone wanted that nerf. Basically, you can take out a lot of frames in just one hit with this weapon, as you can see as we stroll down through here, taking frame after frame after frame. We tested this, and basically what it shows is that we can take out any of these frames besides 8x4 and 6x4, and I think that was actually also what the Scorpion could do. The max hit you can deal is 56, meaning that the damage reduction on frames is around 55%, which also means, because the base damage of one blockchain hit is 128, and we now can hit 56, so around 55% damage reduction on this, meaning that the only frame that will survive a blockchain hit is a 6x4 or an 8x4. But, you know, bring 3 blockchains and then those frames will be gone so as well. So it's gonna be the ultimate deframing weapon, and I think if it's gonna release in the current state, then it's definitely gonna be Clan Wars viable, because you can take out melees and stuff like that so easily just by removing the frames. Do note that this weapon doesn't really have the same amount of penetration when it comes to penetrating layers of armor, so it's worth it to note that we won't be able to do that. The shot will now be made up of 8 individual bullets, and you can kind of see it. You can kind of see, I don't know, you can see that there's all those tiny clusters on the ground. But when we shoot this, watch the laser. Just try to keep a good eye out for the laser. You can just mildly note that there are like individual blasts in it. Let me just run this in slow motion. As you can see, there are like individual bullets in the laser, and these are 8 individual projectiles. So of course, getting that deframe also means that you have to hit all of the 8 bullets on the frame to deal full damage. But if you do so, you can see you can deal quite severe damage to enemies. So it's definitely stronger than it was before, and I don't know if it's better or worse, but it's quite a lot better. All right, I know if it's better or worse, because it is better, but I don't know if it's gonna be, you know, have its place in Clan Wars or whatever. We're gonna have to see about that as we move on. I think that's the most important, or the easiest way to kind of check if it's gotten any better. But for now, let's just see what we can do to this hover right here. I mean, that was not a lot of frames going off there, but let's just wait for that one to go down. Oh god, that Helios is gonna absolutely demolish us. But as you can see, there goes half of his build. So you can already imagine what kind of damage you can inflict with these if you run a triple setup on these, and you don't, you know, you don't pay attention. At least if you are on the enemy side, you will be taken out by these quite easily, and you will be deframed a lot, and I know that's frustrating to a lot of people. So let's see where this goes. I personally like the change for now, but I do think it's quite strong in the current state, but they might nerf the damage a bit before releasing this in the live server. So don't stress it too much, guys. Don't worry. Then we also have, you know, a Grenadier change, and even better, an Annihilator change. The Annihilator drone is definitely taking a hit this time. The base health of a drone right now on the live server is 100. On the test server, 60. They're reducing the HP of an Annihilator drone by 40%. which is massive. Besides that, it also now stays in the same place for 3 seconds instead of 2. So you get a full extra second where it's just stationary and not moving at all, meaning that they will once again be easier to shoot down. Where did my grenadier drone go? Oh, he drove into it. Okay, good. Well, that's cool. But besides that, grenadier drones reduced HP from 140 to now 120. And besides that, they can move no faster than 70 kilometers an hour, where before they could move 80 kilometers an hour. So they're slowing down the grenadier drones a little bit, making them just a little bit less durable. But the biggest hit is definitely on the Annihilator. That one is taking quite the hit. I mean, I'm pretty sure it needs it, so I think it's okay. I definitely think it's okay. But that is pretty much all for this test server. Very interesting changes indeed. And once again, I think the devs really did a good job at listening to what people want. I mean, the Annihilator drone has been subject to a lot of rage lately. So many people have quit playing Clan Wars that I know of, at least, because of the Annihilator drone and because of the spam of them. You wouldn't meet any team that didn't have them. This is literally on par with when everyone was running Typhoons, you know. Bring 4 Typhoon hovers, secure top 60. That was pretty much what you would do. It seems like that with the Annihilator drone now, but hitting them this hard will definitely make life much more hard for drone users. I still think 30 seconds uptime for these drones are just way too much, and potentially also the reloading. Run these with a cheetah, and you know, when you take down drones, before you get to reposition and actually get back into the fight, then the Annihilator drone is already recharged. So it's just super strong, and it's very good. But I think this is definitely a step in the right direction, and I think we should welcome this change indeed, instead of complaining too much about them for now. This will impact it, and this will impact it a lot. So guys, thank you so much for tuning into this video. That was all I had for you. I hope you put this to good use, and I'll see you in the next one. Also, we hit 6,000 subscribers today. Thank you so much to all of you. Bye bye.